My wife walked into courtroom with edited recordings. The courtroom was colder than I expected, not in temperature, air conditioning never bothered me, but in atmosphere, the kind of cold that seeps into your marrow, reminding you this is not a place for truth, but for theater. She walked in first, my wife, or rather the woman who used to wear that title as if it were a crown. Her lawyer followed behind her like a well-trained wolf. A name-brand divorce attorney, the type you hire when you're preparing not for fairness, but for annihilation. Then came the recordings. Grainy audio, cropped video clips, edited with precision, painted to suggest abuse, cruelty, intimidation. A false world manufactured by the woman who once whispered love into my ear. The judge listened, nodded, wrote notes. She wanted half my business, the estate, monthly payments for a life she planned to build on the ashes of mine. The room believed her. Even the silence seemed to bend in her favor. I sat still, my face unreadable. Because while she spoke of bruises that never existed, while her lawyer performed his rehearsed outrage, I counted seconds. Each tick of the courtroom clock pressed against the inside of my skull. They forgot something. They forgot who had installed the cameras in that estate, who had built the system with his own hands, who knew every blind spot, every angle, every feed. And in that silence, with the judge half convinced and her lips curved in victory, I stood. "Your Honor," I said, my voice flat, controlled. She forgot who installed the cameras. It hadn't begun in court. It began with a whisper of suspicion. Late nights that stretched too long. Laughter from behind closed doors when she thought I was asleep. Business meetings that no longer made sense. I told myself I was paranoid, that exhaustion was rewriting shadows into monsters. But the unease didn't fade. It sharpened. The first slip came through her phone, left on the counter, buzzing with a message preview. Not a name, just an initial, the kind of initial you use when you've hidden the rest. "You free tonight?" Same place. I stared at it until the screen dimmed. When she returned, I didn't ask. I smiled, kissed her forehead, let her think the world still revolved around her deception. But the truth had already slipped through the cracks. And I am not the kind of man who reacts. I am the kind who plans. I began collecting, quietly, patiently. Phone records traced, GPS data logged, receipts cross-checked. Every thread of her life tugged gently until the weave began to unravel. Her lover wasn't just a lover, he was her lawyer's brother. The connection explained everything. Her newfound confidence, her sudden knowledge of the law, her rehearsed threats whispered late at night when she thought I slept too deeply to hear. I ordered DNA tests, not because of doubt, our children were mine, but because paranoia is the child of betrayal, and I left no stone unturned. I reviewed the security footage from my estate, footage no one but me could access, not even her. Cameras hidden behind walls, wired directly to a server she didn't know existed. And there it was. Her voice, clear, uncut, unedited. Her rehearsing lines with her lover, smiling as she practiced sounding fragile, planning how she'd stand in court, tears painted on her face. It wasn't just betrayal, it was strategy, malice wrapped in silk. I stayed silent. I moved through our home like a ghost, eating dinners with her, nodding when she spoke. Inside, every smile of hers was a blade twisting deeper. But I didn't bleed, I sharpened. The day I confronted her, I didn't raise my voice. I simply placed a flash drive on the dining table. Sleek, black, innocent. "Play it," I said. She frowned, laughed even. But when the footage began, her voice rehearsing, her lover's hands on her shoulders, her laughter died in her throat. Her skin drained of color. Her lips trembled. "I can explain," she whispered. I watched her crumble, and I felt nothing. Not anger, not sorrow, only a strange cold clarity. I had the truth now, and the truth was heavier than any love we had ever shared. Which brought us here, courtroom, judge, the world watching. Her lawyer thundered. She wept on cue. The jury of silence leaned her way. And then I stood. Your Honor, she forgot who installed the cameras. Gasps scattered across the room like sparks. The screens lit up. My evidence played, unedited, untouched. Her voice filled the courtroom, not the trembling act of a victim, but the calm, conspiratorial tone of a manipulator plotting her win. Her lover's laughter, their strategy sessions exposed. The judge's face hardened. Her lawyer shifted, color draining from his face. She reached for my hand across the table, whispering frantically, "Please, stop." I didn't move. I watched her shatter. When it ended, the courtroom was silent. The judge dismissed her claims with surgical precision. No half the business. No estate. No monthly payments. She was left with nothing but the weight of her own exposed lies. I walked out without looking back. The sound of her voice, calling my name, bounced against the marble walls and dissolved into nothing. Outside, the air was warm. Sunlight cut across the concrete steps, sharp and blinding. I had thought I'd feel relief or triumph. Instead, I felt only clarity. Some people destroy themselves without needing your hand. All you must do is give them the mirror. And as I stepped into the daylight, one truth pulsed through me like a verdict I'd already known. She was finished. I was free.